Oh, and I said all of that while I was muted. So at least I got to practice. Great. I'm delighted to introduce to you Johan Beyers from Takealot, one of our gold sponsors. Thank you for taking the time to give this talk and for sponsoring the conference. And Johan is going to be talking to us about something very topical at the moment, breaking things at scale. So without further ado from me, Johan, take it away.
Senior developer at Takealot. So this talk usually takes about 25 to 30 minutes. So I figured in case I don't finish, I better start with a conclusion. So a couple of takeaways I want you to have from this talk. Firstly, at scale, if you're doing things often enough, everything will break eventually. Then retries can be useful, but you have to be careful when using them. Circuit breakers prevent us from overwhelming our upstream services when calling them. And I'll go into that in a little bit more detail. And then the last takeaway is we've got very interesting problems to work on. All right, demo time. So I built a little test service to kind of show you these concepts. The service is a very simple service with a flaky endpoint. I can configure how flaky that's going to be. I have some retry circuit breaker and a main logger so that we can see what's happening. And I have a couple of calls. I have a normal flaky call. I've got one with a simple retry. I've got one with a proper retry with backoff and exponential backoff. And then I've got a circuit breaker, and then I throw the whole lot together. So yeah, is what it looks like. So I've got it configured. So in a cycle of 10 calls, the first 5 will be successful, and then I have 5 failures, and it'll just keep doing that. Not very interesting. Let's try it with a simple retry. Exactly the same behavior from the service. Look at the speed of the retries. So if you do this and your service goes down, you're going to be hammering that service. And especially if it's got multiple upstream pods, you'll be hammering that pretty hard. That's not what you want to do. So we do proper retries. So here what you'll see is I've got it configured for 3 successful calls, then 2 timeouts. Now, we don't retry on timeouts in this instance, because if you look at the timing on these retries, it can mean that the call takes up to about 4 seconds longer than it starts out just on the retries. So if you add the timeouts to that, and that's 3 timeouts, then the service that called this one might end up timing out on its side. So it's better to fail fast and then get then present either stale data or return quickly to the calling service. So this is what we've got for circuit breakers. Now, a circuit breaker does the following. If I get 3 or 4 failures in a certain time, you'll see there's a got service error and the flaky call broke on request 9. Now, for about 10 seconds, we don't call the service. We get a circuit open error, and that gets returned immediately, even before the call happens. And you'll see after 10 seconds, it'll try to contact the service again. If it doesn't get there, it will open the circuit for another 10 seconds. And then once it gets a successful call, that returns. Now, putting in both. So the interesting thing here is, again, we don't do any retries on timeouts. We've got a finished call. Then after that retry, we've got a circuit open error, and the whole thing repeats. You'll see, there we go. So that is what it looks like. Okay, that is me. Thank you very much. You see the link there, you know what to do. And that's 5 minutes.
Cool. Thank you, Johan. And thank you for kind of a very interesting talk. I know that was the 5-minute version of a 25-minute talk. So you can find Johan in Discord, either in this talk channel or in the Takealot sponsors channel, maybe, to have a chat in more detail about these things if you're interested. Cool. Thank you, everyone, and see you at the next talks after the break.
Perfect. Thanks.
Thanks, Johan.